Right, okay. Bit of a interesting one for Combat Patrol because this is the additional character that we're able to use within our games of Combat Patrol. And this is Chief Librarian Tigurius. I think that's how you say that, Tigurius. It's very strange. Sometimes the way that they put things on this, it's so difficult when your brain doesn't operate like normal. Anyway, let's have a look what's in this. So this is a special issue, and this is the character encounter issues. So let's have a look and just see what we get in this. My experience from these from Stormbringer was actually, other than telling you how to build it and how to paint it, they never really gave you much else in these. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if there's anything of interest within this, and we'll go from there. So, first and foremost, how to build our Chief Librarian. Which is, very simple. There's not really much else you can say about that. There does appear, however, to be lots of very difficult little steps. I'm going to try and zoom out a little bit. There's lots of tiny little steps on building this one, so this is not going to be an easy build, to say the least. I think it's going to be quite fiddly, requiring lots of patience between each stage. Overall as well, I am kind of curious. I always get curious on these if there's any kind of options about how you build them, so like different head options. Looking actually, he does not seem to have any head options, to be quite blunt, which is problematic to say the least, because, well, I like differences to, just doing things slightly different here and there. Overall, though, we do have a guide on how to paint him. However, it does seem to, list a lot of paints that I'm going to assume we will get eventually, but don't have right now. Things like Calgar Blue, but I think a lot of these we do have already, and I'm reasonably confident that we either will get them eventually, and that's why they've chosen these particular colours. But it is quite a complex paint, a lot of work to do. And of course, for me to paint this guy up, I do have a wide range of paints available, so I'll probably potentially just paint him straight up without overdoing it, basically. Okay. But overall, there's quite a lot of details on this guy to get done. A lot of effort to put into it, say the least. It's going to be a long paint. The other issue is, if, like me, you've chosen to not do Ultramarines, we do have another big issue with this guy. We get his rules as well, but yeah, there's not a lot of new information in there. Basically, he's an Ultramarine, and he's full-blown everything, every single little detail is Ultramarines, which causes a problem if you don't want Ultramarines. We're not just talking about a couple of little things here and there either. We are talking about full-blown Ultima symbols everywhere. Now, if you were doing an Ultramarine successor chapter, you could get away with it. But if you're not doing Ultramarine successor chapter, you have Ultimas everywhere, absolutely everywhere, getting in the way. And I don't want those Ultimas on the model. So I've got a choice now. I build him, paint him up, but because I don't collect Ultramarines, see if I can maybe sell him and get my money back. Or I convert him and I try and make him as my chief librarian for my Emperor's Sons chapter. that is going to be a lot of work, and I just don't know if I'm brave enough to do that at the moment. I have so much work to do and so many things to get done. I just don't know if I've got time. So I'm going to have a really good think about that. So I think if you are collecting Ultramarines or an Ultramarine successor chapter, this is, a fantastic little thing. You can buy this guy for around about 22 quid. So, if you've got this issue, it's technically a saving. I'm trying to remember how much extra I paid for this. But, it is a saving, but it's only useful if you collect Ultramarines, basically. And I'm going to have a good think about what I can do to either accept that he's not going to work with my Emperor's Sons, painting him up as an Ultramarine, see if I can get a bit of money for him, or then potentially convert him, which is extra work. So I'm going to have a good think about that before I put him together. So it's a nice enough issue. He's a nice character. He looks completely cool. There's no other way to put it. He absolutely looks brilliant. I'm just going to have to think whether or not he fits my force. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you when I decide what to do with this guy.